Okay, well, good evening, everyone. So good to see everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We have our team Zoom every Monday night at the same time, and it's just always just a blessing to get on here and be able to say hi to everybody and just advance our LifeVantage business and see how we can help people. So I'm thrilled that you are all here. I trust we're not going to go over the announcements tonight. So I trust that you have seen your Monday momentum emails with all the pertinent information in there. And so I want to introduce our guest tonight. I'm super excited. I have my notebook and pen ready. I hope you do too. And so our guest tonight is Jennings Waterhouse. And I'm going to just read a little bit of her bio. She has been a serial entrepreneur since birth. She's a creator, an artist, an outdoor lover, a former restaurant owner, chef, renovation junkie, big room yoga instructor, and owner of Zest Inspired Living, a business dedicated to tools for living a most optimal life. She lives with her family in North Idaho, a homeschooling mother of two boys, Drake and Grayson, and wife to Bridger. Their family loves to travel, adventure, and live an out-of-the-box lifestyle. Jennings recognized immediately that LifeVantage was an incredibly unique opportunity not to be missed. For the last 12 years, she has become a passionate ambassador for personal growth and the network marketing industry. So we are just honored and privileged to have you, Jennings, and so excited to hear from you. And I love the topic. Listen to this, guys. Strategies for building a business you love. I mean, that is incredible. So, Jennings, I'm just going to turn the time over to you, my friend.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, it's always such an honor to get to be with another team and friends that I've seen over the years and that may be from near and far. But it's so great to get to gather with you guys. And I hope that what I have for you tonight will be inspiring, will be not too controversial, I hope. And I hope that it will give you some tools for maybe moving forward. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my story because it goes along with what we're going to talk about tonight. 12 years ago, like Julie said, my mom, Gloria, she's here in the left bottom that says, go to the people and places that set a spark in your soul. She's always been a mentor to me, and we've worked really closely. We had a restaurant together. We've renovated old historic buildings. We had an inn. We did all these things together, and our life was crazy. We worked day in and day out. She's a psychologist full-time, seeing patients all day. Then we'd go to the restaurant at night. I had a design business. I'd be painting all day or doing something and then renovating something and then go to the restaurant. And we were exhausted. And about 2009, you guys know what happened in 2008, 2009. And we were just like, we don't want to do the restaurant business anymore. We don't want to work that hard. We don't want to be up late at night. We want to actually be healthy, live life. And so I ended up going to Bikram yoga training, and I thought, well, I'll do this and I'll open a yoga studio, and that'll be a really healthy lifestyle, right? Well, it ended up kind of being the same thing with owning your own brick and mortar business, right? I had all of these employees, all of this overhead, a bazillion people coming through that I was managing all of the time, and the burnout was still there. And one day I was cleaning out and organizing our office, and I found this LifeVantage box that my mom had secretly started taking the products and become a distributor consultant. And she was too embarrassed because it was network marketing to tell me. And I said, "What is this? What is this box?" And she said, "Okay, I have to come clean. So you have to watch this ABC primetime video." And I watched that video, and all I could see was possibility. I saw that everyone I knew, including myself, who I thought felt great, definitely needed this product. I had, in all my years of homeopathic school, massage school, yoga training, you know, all the different diets and all the stuff, I had never seen anything like what we have. And so immediately we jumped in together and we built a pretty significant team in our very, very small town. So a town of like 7,000 people, right? And so quickly we had a bunch of teammates, and we had no idea what we were doing. We were embarrassed about network marketing, but we knew we were passionate about the products. And so it was like this back and forth. And so we did everything we could to just kind of learn how to do this on our own. We didn't have a ton of support locally or anybody to really follow. And so we just started doing it, right? We started hosting a weekly meeting every single Monday for 10 years. We had a weekly meeting at our office. Without a doubt, it was there Monday night. Everybody showed up, whether there were 3 people or 30 people. And that was amazing. We started going to every single LifeVantage Academy, and we would drive. Maybe some of you don't even know what that is, but it's like a super Saturday. And we would drive 4.5 hours across mountain passes to go to Missoula, Montana. And we would spend the weekend there as a team, get training, and we would do this cycle every single month over and over and over again. So our first year, we rank advanced to about Pro 5 in our first 8 months or so. And then we did the deadly thing of going into management mode, right? Like we were able to recruit a lot of people off the beginning, and then we started kind of like, wow, how do we actually teach other people how to do this? And we started, you know, coming up with these systems that we didn't really know if they worked or not. And we became stagnant, and we stayed at basically 25,000 in volume for about 4 or 5 years. Now, that's not bad, right? Like some of us would be really like excited about that. But when, no matter what level you're at, when you get stagnant, you think the world's coming to an end. There's something wrong here, and we've got to get to the next level. And so we work and work and work and try and do all these different things to make something happen. And finally, we got some mentorship that kind of boosted us. We learned a few things about creating a culture with our team and how to create that next level of leadership. And we boosted up to Pro 7, right? And we earned like that white Jeep there that you can see my son, he's going to get her Christmas tree. And we were able to earn that Jeep and maintain our volume at Pro 7 and maintain it and maintain it and maintain it and stay stuck and stuck, right? And COVID hit. And everything about the way that we did our business has completely changed. I don't know about you guys. We were so flying to different places and building teams locally. We were hosting those meetings every single week. And so for us, you know, we weren't big social media team. We didn't have all those systems in place. And then, as you know, with the company changing to evolve, we're all trying to navigate all of these changes and learn and keep up. And now we've got TikTok and social media and everything's so fast paced. And how do we navigate building this business in this new world? So our team's talking a lot about, you know, looking at what worked over the years. What are the things that we've learned? What are the things that are really solid foundational pieces? And what are the new things that we can implement that are relevant to how we live today? Does that make sense to you guys? Does anybody else feel that? I would love for you guys to write in the chats, comment, tell me how, like, if that totally resonates with you or it totally doesn't. Maybe you guys are in a different place, but this is what we're talking about a lot. And it's what I want to share with you tonight, because I feel like this is a really a time where people are unsettled. They're not sure what's going to be happening in the world. they're a little precautious about jumping into things, some of them. Other ones are like, wow, I have got to do something radical. I've got to do something different. And we have to be able to build a business that we love, something that we feel amazing about, something that's not going to lead to burnout, to frustration. I mean, there are obviously always going to be days of frustration, but overall, something that you can really feel great about. And none of us got into this business to, you know, feel bad or have another job or be super stressed. And it's just not going to work that way, right? So I want to ask you, over the last week, just go back and think about your last week in LifeVantage, or maybe the last month. How much of the time did you spend, what percentage did you feel guilty that you weren't doing enough, shameful that you didn't know how to do something, or you weren't like keeping up, or you weren't showing up, or you weren't doing as much as you're supposed to? Any of those kind of like beating yourself up kind of feelings. So put in the chat, you know, what percentage you felt guilty, shameful, whatever. And then how much of that of your time do you think you spent on celebrating and focusing on how you were serving people? Maybe it's how you're serving your customers, how you're serving your community, how you're serving your team, how you're serving your family. You know, how are you showing up? What percentage of that time did you feel of your energy are you spending on that? So maybe you could just give me a, 30-50, or a, not 30-50, that wouldn't make sense. 30-70 or 60-40 or 90-10, because I know from all the people that I talk to, about 95% of the people spend 95% of the time beating themselves up that they're not doing the right things, that they're behind, that they're feeling guilty, like, crap, I didn't do all my presentations. Dang, I didn't reach out to 2 people every day for the last week, all of these things, whatever they are. So just kind of keep that in your mind. And tonight, I hope that what we're doing is going to shift a little bit of that, and you might hopefully like shift that percentage to higher on the pink side. Can you pinpoint if you did have any of those feelings, like you did have any feelings of guilt or not good enough or behind, or you just want to hide out and not talk to anyone because you didn't do what you're supposed to do? What exactly, and write it down or you put it in the chat, what exactly are you feeling guilty about? So I had a teammate this week who, years ago, we started really concentrating on just a system where you do this many presentations a month. And, from that, if you're actually doing that, then this many people will fall through the, go through the system, and you'll end up like with some success. And if you do that consistently forever, you're going to be a gazillionaire. And so she wasn't doing that, right? She wasn't doing whatever that number was that she thought she should be doing. And so she wasn't doing anything, right? She was just paralyzed because she didn't have this number of presentations down. Other people, it might be like my dear friend Karen. She didn't know about Nashville. It wasn't on her schedule. Her family and friends had planned this beautiful trip to Mexico, and she was feeling so upset trying to change her plane tickets so she could get to the event, and her friends were going to be really upset with her, and there was so much pressure around getting to Nashville. Then that pressure was keeping her from actually just talking to people this last week, right? She was so caught up in that that she couldn't move forward. So what is it for you in the last week or months that you've been focused on that you're not good enough, not doing well enough, you're not showing up enough, not checking the boxes enough? Because what I've learned over the last 12 years, and it's really starting to kind of resonate with me more now as I look at this fresh new era that we all get to be a part of, is, you know, I know for myself, I have this belief that I have to struggle and work really, 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 really hard in order to be successful. And that's a belief that, I've carried from childhood. And maybe some of you guys have the same thing. Like, well, if you don't show up from 9 to 5, you don't really have a business. Or if you don't make this amount of money, you don't have a business. Or if you don't go to every single event, you might not be successful. Or if you miss a call, you're not dedicated, right? So over time, we kind of, and as leaders, the really awful thing is that we start, believing these things, and we start kind of repeating them and creating this pattern of, that there are these rules that we have to follow. And I believe that that leads to more guilt. And then it also leads to more paralyzation. So we're not actually able to move forward because we're just paralyzed by these, negative feelings, right? So think about what rules you might say to yourself about your business. I know recently I have two boys, they're 10 and 13, and we homeschool. And they have this new homeschooling program, which is really awesome because a lot of it is self-directed and they get to do it on their own. But it only takes them about an hour and a half to get it all done. And they can do it anytime they want to. And they've been really awesome going and doing it themselves. I don't even have to tell them. They go, they check the boxes, they love it, they're excited to do it. And I find myself feeling guilty, like, oh man, we're not spending enough time on school. School should be, take 8 hours. And so just really think about, gosh, are you beating yourself up? You're not posting this many times a day because Instagram says you have to post this many times a day. Or, write these things down, because you're going to start noticing when you're saying these things to yourself. And if we believe them, then that makes it true, right? Like, I'm never going to be a pro 7 if I can't post on social media 2 times a day. That's ridiculous, right? Right, Julie? You're doing great posting, by the way. I've been following you. You're doing awesome. So if there were, imagine a secret watch party watching you as you went about the reality show of your business, would the people watching want to join you? Are you, going around like, oh gosh, I got to get on this call. Oh man, I got to make these reach outs. Oh, another presentation, like, or are you like, wow, excited to go meet your friend at the coffee shop and talk about their health? Are you excited about that gathering that you're hosting? Are you, I think a perfect example, do you guys know, I mean, I'm sure you probably do, Pro 10 Michelle Poe. I look at her and I'm like, dang, I want to join her team. They're always having so much fun. They make it look so fun. And I actually believe they are having fun, right? And she's grateful, and they're doing these, they come in this party bus to the events. And I'm like, wow, how do they do that? And we may not all be at that level where we get to bring the whole party bus, but we can bring the party bus on our own, to our own party, right? And the reason why this is so important is because literally, if I could give you guys one tip that I've learned over the last 12 years, is that 99% of this game is your energy. The energy that you have around your business, energy that and belief that you have around our company, the products, and the energy that you're carrying throughout the day, people are watching you. And they can sense from a mile away if you are doing the actions and they're out of alignment for you. They will not join you. And it's the number one thing that if you could focus on how you can shift your energy around certain things, then you're going to start, people are going to start coming to you. Has anybody experienced this where maybe one week their energy's totally off and they're trying, you just feel like, oh gosh, well, I have to do this and I got to go talk to this person or I got to make this phone call. And then it just does not go well. But then the next week, you're in a totally different place. You're feeling great. It's effortless. Like you run into somebody and they're like magically want to, take the healthy glow stack plus all the other stuff. And then they're like, wow, I want to join your team. These like really random things happen, but it's because of your energy. And so if we're consciously working on this, and part of the way we can do this is by looking at the actions in our business and seeing if they align with us. And sometimes that means taking the pressure off our business, right? Have you guys ever felt like I joined this business because I need an extra $500 a month and I have to make this extra $500 a month or like my world's going to fall apart. And so every time you go to pick up the phone with somebody, there's like this extra lead weight on the telephone because there's so much pressure on what you have to create. Has anybody you can give me a little thumbs up if anybody has ever felt like that? So what if we were able to, and these are just some suggestions, know that you're building your business long term. Like, what if there wasn't a time limit on your business? You didn't have to get to a certain rank at a certain time. You didn't have to make a certain amount of money at a certain time. It could take you a decade. And this is something I used to do. Like, if I got to be an elite distributor in 10 years, would it be worth it? Totally. I would totally work 10 years to be an elite distributor, right? Would I work 15? Probably. Now that I know what I know, I would totally do that. But when there's this pressure, like, okay, I've got to do it in 3 years, or I've got to get to, making $2,000 a month, and it's so much pressure. So one of the things you can do is start to maybe look at how can I bring in that extra income from some other area of my life that I'm already doing to take some pressure off my LifeVantage business so that I can like purely and like cleanly move forward with the actions without having the extra lead weight attached to it. Does that make sense to anybody? So that's just like one little suggestion. And then taking off the time limits. Because for a lot of us, some people are super goal oriented, right? They see that safari trip in Africa, they have their tracker out, they are going for it. I don't know about you, but that's not my personality. It may not be yours. And so, but we beat ourselves up because we're not that, right? So you got to learn, like, is that in alignment with me or is it not? And this isn't a like you're off the hook call because you're not off the hook. Doesn't mean that you don't get to take any action. It means that we have to figure out for ourselves and examine what is the aligned action for us individually. When we talk as leaders and we're talking to a big group, or you go to convention and they tell you all of these things, they're speaking to the masses, right? but you are so individual, so special, each one of you in this massive organization. And it takes all personalities, it takes all types in order to build a team that is going to be successful. So over the next few weeks, maybe just start looking at the things that you're doing already and say, how, like, do I get a stomach ache every time I try and do this? Or do I, am I like procrastinating on this forever because it makes me feel icky? Is this something that's really in alignment with my personality? Start writing those down and either delegating those or finding somebody else that loves to do that part or finding a different way to do it. Start noticing the parts that you absolutely have fun with, that you look forward to, that you make you so excited, that you're joyful, you're, like one of the best things, I love collaborating. So like I love to meet my teammates at a coffee shop and brainstorm and get inspired, and we get great ideas and then we move forward together with them. That to me is like fills me up. Other people, it might be like so excited to, create an amazing presentation. I don't know. There's so many different things, but figure out for you which parts bring you joy. And then we're going to figure out how we can leverage the team and all of the resources for the alternate personalities and the alternate tasks that may need to be done that are completely out of alignment for you. So here's just an example. If you're looking at attraction and recruiting, these are kind of 4 distinct examples. So maybe you're the type of person like I was originally that loved connecting in person, right? I loved like meeting a friend and sharing about our science. I loved talking about the business, and I loved going to that coffee shop and sitting down and connecting one-on-one. Now I have other people who like can't stand to do it that way, and they love to go to like a BNI meeting and meet other professional people and network and do all that. To me, that would be like torture, right? Other people, they're actually introverted. They don't want to leave the house. They want to stay in their sweatpants. They want to like play at home with their kids. They don't want to go out and go to a professional networking meeting. Maybe they want to just build online. So, start thinking about, in terms of attracting and recruiting, which one of these might be in alignment with you. And of course, there are like a million others. And maybe put it in the chat, which one you like. If you had to choose one, which one are you most excited about? And are you doing that? Is that the way you're going about doing it right now? Sorry, should I go back for a second? See you guys soon. Tell me in the chats, which one, like, if you had to go to a deserted island for each one, which one would it be? Carol says definitely connecting in person. Victoria, connecting in person. You guys have a lot of one-on-one person. Awesome. Nice. Cool. Wow, you're all in person. Oh no, my dog is attacking the window. Online. Cool. Nice. Those are great. So just be noticing, like, if you like have any of that guilt for not doing it the other way or whatever. Okay, how about your routines and habits? So I know that there are a lot of people out there that work really well systematically doing the same thing every day and having like a checklist. And they go through the checklist and they're like, okay, I've got to do my Facebook birthdays. I got to do my, I've got to call 5 people. I got to do, got to connect with my teammates. So they have their daily income producing activities DMO sheet, right? Then there are the other people that are like, they just can work 1 hour a day, every day of the week, 7 days a week. Then there are the other people who are like, I can work all day, 1 day a week, and I can really focus on it. I can't do like the little things every day because that is like sticking a fork in your eye. So notice if you're trying to force yourself into a box that is not you. Like for me, my kids are all over the place. The schedule's all over the place. I'm always trying to say like, okay, I'm going to block out this much time and I'm going to do these exact things. It just does not work for me like that right now. Right? I go in spurts. I like get inspired and I do all this stuff. And then I have to like do some other stuff. And then I get a spurt and I go in spurt, you know? But when you add it all up, you're still taking action. So just notice how much is your daily routine actually in alignment with you? Okay, and leadership and teammates. So one of the ways that you're serving, that you're adding your energy to the collective, right? Which in turn adds energy that people can feel when they want to join you, right? So I know that there's some people that kind of sit back and they're letting the leaders take charge of what's going on. They might be waiting for other people to create things. But this is an area where you can be of service and you can start to shift the energy of the collective so that people are magnetized to your group by coming with your aligned action for the community. So, and sometimes we look at people like, I bet, you know, I look at Julie and I'm like, wow, she's got to be like so organized. She's a great leader. She's inspiring. She's super consistent. I can tell already. She's always there for everybody. But maybe I don't have those exact same skills. So how can I contribute? You know, is my skill that I am creating teaching tools or certain resources that the team might need? Or am I the host? Like, do I throw a super fun gathering? And that's really my skill set that I can bring to the community. Or am I like the hype person? Like we all need the uplifter and the inspiration. Are you bringing that to the team? So which one are you? I'd love to see on this one, which skill set is your number one? Which one's your number one? Nice. John's tools and resources, Victoria energy. And your teammates on here. So they're going to know, like, you said you were energy, you got to bring that. You're showing up with that. Nice. Tools and resources, teaching. Awesome. Carol is right about herself, and just her amazing before and after is an amazing tool that we're all so grateful for. So thank you for that. So your vision and mission from this call is to start to just kind of analyze and evaluate some of these things that you've been doing and how we've been doing them and see if they're in alignment. That's awesome. Like if you're already doing that, fantastic for you. We all wish to be doing that. If there's some areas where you feel like, wow, maybe I do need to take a step back on that part and try and do it a little bit different way, not forcing it. Maybe I could surrender to the feeling like, hey, maybe that is just not the way that I should be doing something. It doesn't feel great. It feels, you know, ugh. Start to notice those things. And then start to notice the things where you are really like, wow, that I crushed that. That was awesome. I'm excited to do that again. Start noticing those things like, wow, I just had this really amazing conversation with an old friend. That like filled me up so much. You know, maybe that's your thing. And if something happens to be out of alignment, it's okay to talk with somebody about it. I don't think anybody on here is going to shame you for saying like, gosh, you know, and I feel like we often, because of the guilt, we don't want to say to anybody like, ooh, that just makes me feel icky. I don't want to do that. Right. We want to be like, oh man, well, dang, Carol is crushing it like that. Like, why can't I do that? You know? So it's going to be, it's, you know, you have to be a little bit courageous, a little bit brave, and a little bit vulnerable. Jeez, my words are not coming. And then start looking out for your team. Looking out for your team to say, oh my gosh, Judy has the most amazing skill around gathering people. Let's ask her to be the host for the next gathering. Right? You know, really celebrating each other's gifts, and in turn they're going to celebrate your gifts. So I'd love to stop sharing, and if you guys have time for a conversation or any questions, I would love to hear your thoughts on that. And
Thank you so much, Jennings. That was incredible and how thought provoking. Really, I took a lot of notes and I've just been sitting here. My brain is just like spinning about all this. But some of the things that really stood out to me, people are attracted to the energy of you. And what I hear you saying is, basically we all need to be true to ourselves and, who we really genuinely are and how we can add value. Uh, and I think, one of the things that I've been learning in doing Life Vantage is, adding value to people is really what brings that, energy and attraction. Um, And I loved how you said, about the importance of bringing out everyone's special gifts and personality. So, um, and my thoughts too, I just so agree with you, Jennings, that we all have something unique to contribute to the team. And, each person just finding out what that is and making that contribution uh, just makes all the difference. So I love this, Jennings. I think it was very thought provoking, and love to see if somebody else has a comment or question they would like to ask.
It reminds me, I was watching one of the presentations, and I think his name is Dr. Sunny. And he said, because he's not in this country, but he says their team has a theme that we build people with the business. We don't build the business with people. And I think that's kind of what this group tries to do.
that's beautiful. I love that saying. That's amazing.
It just makes so much sense, Jennings. And I mean, I admit I find myself thinking, okay, what resonates with me is by far starting with relationship, and then as I know someone more or know more about them, or they know more about me, then it flows into a discussion about, this part of our lives. But man, I just feel the conflict. I feel that conflict of, okay, so how am I going to get a business built? I mean, it's like, I really want that to be how I build the business. And so it makes me want to, be more genuine, I mean, I feel like I'm a pretty genuine person, but I find myself thinking, okay, so is it something that you just let happen then? Or it really helped me toward the end when you said, be all in on the things that you love to do, on the parts that are really authentic with you, because it does make me want to focus more on the kinds of things that I love doing and that really bring the most results with this business. Do you find in that, then, I guess my question for you is, do you find in that your business is mostly more fun? Is it mostly more successful? Is it mostly more genuine? Are you finding it is the main objective to make it be, like you said, to let off the steam and have it be something genuine, and then let it grow at the pace that it's going to grow with those things being established? I guess that's my question.
Well, what I've found is that that's not really a choice, because you can't force this thing. Like, no matter how much you want it, and no matter how much effort and how much, drive you have, it doesn't work that way. So it's kind of pointless to do it, because let's say, even if you are the type of person that's super successful, let's say enrolling a bunch of people, because you are able to influence and you're able to, get those numbers and you're able to do that action. There's the next part where, okay, now they're in, but you have to be able to teach them how to be authentic and how to influence and how to do that same thing. And, that's a whole nother art form. And it's just, I haven't found a way to force it. I haven't found a way to make it happen. Every single person that I've ever enrolled has been because of that natural connection, timing, synchronicity, and every single one where it was effortless, like it just came together without me like trying. Those are the ones that stuck. The ones where you know that you went outside of your lane a little bit. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you maybe influenced them in, or you gave them a discount, like, I'm going to give you this back if you join, or, oh, I'm going to, you're not going to have to do a thing. I'm going to do it all for you, or whatever the thing is that you do. That we've all done it. Those never work out. So building the genuine connections and meeting people where they are, and being courageous enough, and I think this is what you're really asking, is when I'm connecting with people, how do I know when the right timing is to actually take it to the next level, to get somewhere, right? And that's in the power of the listening and the power of the questioning that you're able to do. And maybe that's also where you have to say, what am I really passionate about, and what am I in alignment with? Like, am I really in alignment with somebody starting on the products and being all in 100% believer on the products, and I support them with the science and I teach them all of that, and then I invite them to learn how they could be a consultant, right? Like, that's one path, which we often say, like, there become rules, like, no, they have to, if, they're not serious if they don't come in with a platinum pack or whatever, you know what I mean? So, just navigating, like, wow, I'm really passionate about the products and helping people understand the power of what we have from a product standpoint, and then allowing that to grow into a business. Or you're really passionate about the business conversation and teaching people how to build an alternate income, right? Like, that's where you're going to have to say what is really in alignment for you in that conversation. and start being brave, asking a little bit deeper questions, listening more for those cues that you can move to the next level. And that's where it's going to start moving along. And then what is the rate? Like, there is the reality of, okay, I'm meeting people one-on-one. If I'm only doing that one time a month, I know for me, I used to have my yoga studio. I ran into hundreds of people a day. It was easy to have conversations with people. And I talked about this stuff 24 hours a day. And then I closed my yoga studio because I was so busy doing this that I wasn't there, right? So I closed my yoga studio, and then now I'm at home homeschooling. It's hard to get that many conversations going. So finding a new way that authentically you can actually have enough conversations going to realistically do it, but you want to have those conversations in alignment, right?
What I and hearing what is speaking to me is I need to get going. I need to do this, and I like the connecting with people. And I wonder, are you still meeting weekly in your community? And I think the consistency is important. I think that's something that I need to get going.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it's really hard now because as our team grew and right around the time of COVID, we started moving everything to Zoom, right? To include everybody from everywhere. And we stopped having our weekly meetings in person at that time. And it's most of the people, after not having that commitment, don't want to go back to it. They're like, I actually want to be at home with my family on a Monday night instead of going out in the dark in the freezing, icy cold to go to the meeting, right? You know what I mean? It's like, and there's a part that's like, they know how valuable it is and how that sustained us as a team and grew us as a team. But in today's world, that doesn't seem to be quite as much of a reality anymore. So trying to find a new way to make it meaningful, to make it a connection online, in this space is a challenge. And so, yeah, we have our weekly meeting like you guys do. And we have, groups that we have events and things locally, but we don't have our weekly meeting every week. But if you're in an area where you can and people want to and you can do it and you're in alignment with that, do that. Because it's awesome.
Yeah. Right now
It's awesome.
I'm president of my Rotary Club, and we are required to meet weekly. And it's just good to see people, that that you're going to see every week. And I'm just thinking this is something that I've been needing to do. I mean, we've had meetings with prospects, but not consistently. And I just kind of feel like we need to have something social to bring the prospects in and keep talking about our health.
I'll tell you what, having it, if you decide to do it and that lights you up and you're excited about that, pick a pace that you commit to that is doable. So you're not canceling, you're not changing it. So if you commit to one time a week, it is one time a week without a doubt, except for maybe like Christmas Day and, like that's pretty much, there are only a couple holidays that it would be like, that we would cancel on. Other than that, everybody knew, like, no matter what, rain or shine, they're there. And so if that's once a month, that's great. If that's twice a month, once a week, but make it so that if you decide you're going to commit to that, you are consistent. Because that builds trust with people. And even if nobody's coming, you still do stuff. Like we did amazing personal development together as a team. And if nobody was showing up, right? Like if we didn't have any guests, we made it meaningful and we learned so much from it. We practiced presenting in front of each other. We practiced telling our story.
That's
Jennings,
great.
can I speak into Bonnie just a minute? Because she has been a LifeVantage consultant distributor about what, Bonnie, 3 months less than I have. And I knew absolutely nothing about what I was doing when all I had was relationship with Bonnie. And she has built a team and she has had setbacks. And sometimes we look, and maybe this is speaking to everybody, we compare what someone's
yeah.
success is. Why don't I have that thing? And I'm the proudest of Bonnie because of her. She has a stick to itness that like nobody I've ever seen in my life. And I just love her for that. And we're together, but COVID really pushed us apart. We're about 45 miles away from each other. And no one has the tenacity that she does. And her business will show that with this consistency and giving us all that liberty to find what brings joy in the way that we build this, as long as we're building. That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Well, and you guys, 45 minutes, 45 miles. That's awesome. That's close. That's great.
Yeah.
Get together and have fun. And I think that what you just said about people, the different journeys, we all have such different journeys in this, and we do really have comparisonitis, and we look at other people and they're like, wow, they did this in that amount of time, and they, wow, they have this many teammates and they've only been here, and we do that. But the development that you're getting it doesn't always show up it doesn't line up on the timeline, right? Like all of a sudden, if you are committed to this, like without like, I'm going to give it this amount of time and then I'm going to give up. If you say, I'm making a decision and this is my life and this is, I'm committed to this, it doesn't matter how long it takes, you start to look back and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe that I used to be that person. I can't even believe the way I used to do things. Oh my gosh, all of these areas of my life are like completely radically different. And I never saw it as I was going along. And now I don't even recognize that person. It's like a whole different lifetime, and those are wins. Those are rank advancements in life, and so important. So we have to celebrate not just the income, not just the enrollments, not just the amount of money that you're making, all of those things. We really have to celebrate who you're becoming along the journey.
Wow, that is so, so true. The personal growth and development that we get in doing this is just phenomenal. And the other thing that I really love about it is just the relationships that we get along the way. I mean, our LifeVantage family is just awesome. And I mean, it's so valuable, even if we don't rank advance and, so on and so forth. So there's just, so many golden nuggets in doing this business. So I had a question, but I want to just go here to the chat so everybody gets their questions answered. Rhino is saying, this is off the subject a little, but what does it mean when a person sees the ABC prime time and does not get it? Should we try another tool or kind of figure they are off target and move on?
It's interesting because so many people see that video and they get it right away. Like I know I saw that video and I got it right away. And then there are the people where it's like all they see is that it was like a commercial, or that they don't really, they're just like, or it's old or whatever. I don't think that just because they don't get it means that they're off target. I don't think that that means that they are necessarily interested in what we have or need what we have. I think that that's probably a good idea to have a deeper conversation, like and maybe the way that the video was set up in the conversation, they didn't really see how it related to them. Sometimes and I don't know if this is the case or not in this question, sometimes we hope that we can just show that video without like a lot of context to it, and that they'll just see it and they'll miraculously understand. But if we set it up in relation to them, how it, you know, like why we're showing that to them specifically for their story, or what we've talked about with them, I think that they're more like, there's usually more of a connection to it. And then I would just go back to asking more questions. There's always the opportunity to ask better questions that lead to a different path.
Okay,
Right?
don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily
give
give
up.
up.
And make sure you're not link slinging. You guys know what that is?
I didn't hear what you said.
Link slinging.
Oh, link slinging. I think I know what it means. Don't keep throwing links out there.
Yeah, don't do that. Have the conversation and then watch the video with them. In that case, also, I would want to know, did you just send them the link and they watched it on their own? Or did they watch it with you? Like with you while you're sitting on the phone, with you over Zoom?
I was mostly thinking I'm sitting there with them and say, hey, I got something really important I want to show you. Hey, take a look at this video and then we'll go from there. And they look at it and say, what did you like about that? I don't know. Yeah,
so I think in that case, Rhino, it's like that was in the setup of it. Right? You just kind of jumped into their lap with the video screen.
Okay.
You know?
I can see that.
Yeah. You know, their brain is thinking about what they have to cook for dinner, where they're what errands they gotta do, what they're behind on. Oh man, I shouldn't be here at coffee. I should be at, doing this stuff. And here you jump in their lap and like, watch this video. And they're like, what?
It wasn't quite, in my mind, I wasn't quite thinking it'd be quite like that. I mean, you have your conversations and you tee it up a little bit and say, now, this is what I've been talking about. This will really explain what I've been saying to you. And anyhow.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
and maybe at that time, maybe that's not, maybe you're not going to be able to get through to them at that time, but that doesn't mean that 6 months down the road, the conversation doesn't come up again and you have the opportunity to revisit it,
Fair
that's
enough.
where that desperation, we don't want to be desperate. I gotta get them. I'm gonna get them there, make them understand this video.
And I think, it boils down to relationship. Just keep the relationship going, keep relating to them, and eventually things might change for them,
Okay.
Yep. Okay, well, I see people saying that this was so helpful, so liberating. All right. Okay, well, I was just going to ask you one thing, and I know this is really going, oh my gosh, it's almost 9 o'clock.
I know, sorry guys.
So fast. So anyway, I was just going to ask you real quick, are you doing a lot then on social media since you're home with your kids? Is that what you're doing?
I haven't been, but I am really excited to dive more seriously into it because, yeah, I'm just excited about, and I feel like now is a time on social media where you actually can be authentic. People want more real, and I didn't really feel great about it when it didn't seem like it was very authentic. Now that people just want to see you talk and actually, it is more like one-on-one kind of one to whoever, but it's more, you're talking to one person and telling your story, and it's not so perfect and all that stuff. I am a lot more attracted to that. And so that is the way that I'm moving forward personally. Just because I have been struggling to get out to see enough people in the world and our town. I'm kind of sick of our little town, to be honest with you.
Well, I could definitely see you being really successful, just being on social media and talking and being genuine and authentic. So that's awesome. Well, I just want to thank everybody. Thank you so much, Jennings. This was incredible. Everyone was inspired, and we have a lot to think about, a lot to process. And so we really appreciate you taking all this time for us. And I Hey, everybody, this is a lot longer than usual, so thanks for hanging in there. And we'll see you next week. So God bless everyone. Bye for now.
Thank
Hey,
you guys
happy
for having
Monday.
Thank you
me.
so much, Jennings. It's been such a
Thank you.
blessing. Thank you.
Thank you. See you all soon.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.